Hey everybody, it's Scott. So our goal in this video is to get a general understanding, overview of the strategies that we'll be looking at in more depth later in the class. So to start off, some touchstones, some things that we built our understanding of these strategies on. So kind of the main texts that you'll find out there and that many of you have probably looked at and read. The original version of the original edition of the Classroom Instruction That Works text by Marzano, Pickering, and Pollock. What we actually worked from is the second edition, which is more recent, and that's the authors there are Dean, Hubble, Pittler, and Stone. And there's also a kind of a companion text called Using Technology with Classroom Instruction That Works. Some of the same authors as the second edition. So those are some of the texts that are out there, and there are a lot of other resources for learning about the strategies, some of which we have linked in the First Steps folder in Schoology. So you'll look for those at the bottom of that First Steps page. One of the ones that I would recommend, let me flip over here, is this. Here, let me move this over. So the ASCD website has a nice article, and it actually goes back to 2002. So it's kind of an oldie but a goodie, but it provides a nice overview of what they call the Essential Nine. So that one you'll find linked in the First Steps folder. So back to our presentation here. So we'll talk here about some key ideas. So some things that you want to take away from, I hope they take away from our discussion. So the whole idea is that these strategies are research based. That there's been a lot of studies that have been done that support and that these are grounded in. That said, and there's a lot of information that goes with that about effect sizes and percentile point increases that you can expect. We're not so concerned with that. Our general idea here is that these are all high impact strategies, and so we're not so concerned about the exact numbers. The idea that these are best bets, these are not silver bullets. So these are things that you can rely on, but they're not necessarily going to work in isolation, and that they should be included in the rest of the ecology, the landscape of your instruction, and that really your teacher knowledge and your judgment are what drives these. So these are part of a larger worldview. In the second edition, they do talk about how the strategies connect to the idea of 21st century learning, 21st century skills, and the idea that these strategies really line up with that we know that students bring prior knowledge and that's important. We know that they need factual and conceptual knowledge, and that learning really happens when they're reflecting on their learning, that they're thinking about the how and why of their learning. So cognition matters as well. So here's a quick snapshot of the 9 strategies. Again, in this video, we're not going to be going into each one in great detail. That'll come later in the course. But here are the 9. A few words about the research-based aspect of it. The books originally they were based out of a 1998 study that Robert Marzano was the lead researcher for. And that was this ambitious meta-analysis of all the available studies they could find about instructional strategies. So they sort of boiled that down, and so the first edition came out of that. And then of course the 2010 second edition that we're looking at. That involved some additional authors doing some follow-up studies and trying to clarify the concepts. They did some revision of what the claimed effect sizes were. So for most of those, that resulted in a more conservative claim for what kind of student achievement you can expect. But still important. So before we launch back into an overview of the 9 strategies, one of the other things that the second edition does that I think is really helpful for us to think about is they break them out according to 3 different areas. The first area being strategies that relate to creating an environment for learning. Second category being helping students develop understanding, and then the third category is extending and applying knowledge. So we thought that was a really useful way to group and organize the strategies, and so we're in the course we're doing that same grouping, so we're sort of following that lead. So the 9 strategies. Under preparing the environment, creating an environment for learning, 3 strategies. One is setting objectives and providing feedback. Second strategy, reinforcing effort and providing recognition. And the third, cooperative learning. Under the developing understanding category or section, working with cues, questions, and advanced organizers, non-linguistic representations, summarizing and note-taking, and assigning homework and providing practice. And then the final area of extending and applying knowledge includes the strategies related to identifying similarities and differences and generating and testing hypotheses. So here are all 9 together. And as I said, we'll be as we introduce each one of these in each of the strategy specific folders, we'll give you some more information about what the text says, some application ideas. But of course, what we're really looking for in the context of the course here is what does this look like with technology, and specifically with iPads. So we look forward to learning with you about what your ideas are around these ideas, and a chance to dig in greater detail. So see you soon. Thanks.